And hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. Guys, we do have a major update in the war between Donald Trump and of course the BBC. And it's not good news for the BBC whatsoever. In today's video, as always, we will go through this, break it down, but first please do hit the like button and hit the subscribe button, and if you haven't already, follow my Instagram is DanPWD. Let's get into it. So of course the talk of the town is with regard to what the BBC did to Donald Trump, of course doctoring and manipulating to make him look like he was inciting violence. Now, in our government, really, they are more on the side of the BBC. You've got absolute lunatics like Ed Davey trying to say that Trump is out to destroy the BBC, where the BBC, on the eve of a presidential election, basically doctored and spliced two clips together that were an hour apart, but it's apparently Donald Trump that's attacking the BBC. Get a grip, Ed Davey. Let's have a watch of this first, and we'll get into the major update.
British institution is under attack from a foreign government. President Trump is trying to destroy our BBC, not because he cares about the truth, but because he doesn't want to get away with his lies. Trump has undermined press freedom in America. Now he's trying to do the same here, disgracefully egged on by the leader of Reform. So will the Prime Minister tell President Trump to drop his demand for $1 billion settlement from the BBC? And will he guarantee that President Trump will not get a single penny from British licence fee payers?
Yeah. Let me be clear, I believe in a strong and independent BBC. Some would rather the BBC didn't exist. Some of them are sitting up there. I'm not one of them. In an age of disinformation, the argument for impartial British news service is stronger than ever. And where mistakes are made, they do need to get their house in order, and the BBC must uphold the highest standards, be accountable and correct errors quickly. But I will always stand up for a strong, independent BBC.
Now, these liberals are, of course, in meltdown because for years they've been catering towards their agenda and pushing their political beliefs. But Ed Davey, I don't know how this guy even gets taken seriously. I mean, his party doesn't. But the fact that he's even allowed two questions in Prime Minister's questions is actually beyond me. He never brings up any relative points. But has he been living under a rock? Look at his post here. Donald Trump is coming for the BBC and your wallets. Well, fucking firstly, get rid of the license fee and stop making them report from a left-wing bias. You know, if they didn't doctor, I mean, no one told the BBC to manipulate and doctor a clip of Donald Trump to make it look like he was inciting violence. They knew full well what they were doing, and people like Ed Davey trying to defend them. No, they will get the justice that is deserved in coming their way. They will get the karma that is deserved in coming their way. For years, the BBC have operated under a left-wing bias, and the fact that Ed Davey's even getting involved just shows that he's super scared because they favour their sort of left-wing opinions, and we're not going to be able to propagandize the people. We're not going to be able to manipulate. We're not going to be able to psyop the people of our liberal views, and that's where Ed Davey's on it. But Trump doesn't give a crap because guess what? Either way, they're filing a lawsuit regardless. So the BBC's time is coming. Have a watch.
With that, I will take your questions today, and in our new media seat, we have Bev Turner, who works for a new outlet, a UK outlet, but based here in Washington, D.C., GB News. Bev, thank you for being here today. Why don't you kick us off?
Thank you, Caroline. So the clock is ticking on the Friday deadline by which the BBC must retract and apologise for their malicious edit of the President in the documentary shown last year. The recently resigned Director General of the BBC yesterday described the organisation as the very best of society and blamed the enemies of the BBC for this outcome. Also yesterday, a senior government minister launched a fierce defence of the channel in the House of Commons, saying that the broadcaster remains a light on the hill for people all over the world. So, does the President feel that the network is taking the situation seriously? Does he believe that they've shown sufficient regret? Does this strain the relationship between the President and the Prime Minister? And given that the organisation is publicly funded, is the President prepared to bankrupt the BBC in his pursuit of truth and justice?
Well, thank you, Bev. There's a lot of questions in one there. I will say, I know the president has a very good relationship with Prime Minister Starmer. You have been there, you've seen them in their interactions, you've questioned both leaders in your time joining us when we've gone to the United Kingdom a few different times now. However, he has always been very frank when he disagrees with leaders, even whom he has a good relationship with. And the BBC, being a fair news organization, is definitely an outlet. I think these two leaders would disagree. The president has made it very clear that this is a leftist propaganda machine that is unfortunately subsidized by British taxpayers, and he thinks that's extremely unfortunate for the great people of the United Kingdom and Great Britain. And I think that the president was deeply concerned by the editing, the purposeful and dishonest editing of his speech that was so clearly fake news, and he rightfully dubbed that term many years ago, and this is a classic example of that. We see it in the United States all the time. We see it now in the United Kingdom. As you know, the president's external legal counsel has filed a lawsuit against the BBC. We expect that to continue, and whether they apologize or not is up to them.
So apology or not, essentially, they're still getting the lawsuit anyway. Trump is going for the jugular. And this is the president of truth. This is the president of peace. That's what I nicknamed Donald Trump. Now, these left-wing lunatics in the UK can say whatever they want. The BBC didn't have to doctor. They are not impartial. They are not impartial. They are a biased organization. Trump sees right through it, and for years they've been getting away with it. And unfortunately, yes, I think everyone should have the freedom of speech to be able to tell their news and deliver it in a way that they wish. If they're left-leaning, they're right-leaning, I don't care. But when you come to a point where you're splicing and making up things, making a president look like he's inciting violence, when you know the whole world's going to see it, you knew exactly what you did, then that crosses the line. The same would go if we were splicing together clips of Keir Starmer. Then we would feel that I feel that I would have to, or GB News would feel that they would have some damages coming their way when you're manipulating. You can deliver news from a right-leaning perspective and a left-leaning perspective, but in the UK, especially when it's a state broadcast, I don't believe that they should have a bias. If they want to have a bias, I'm all fine for it, but take away the sort of license fee and simply go out on your own and run your news service as a subscription like all of the other models in the world. But even then, even if it was a subscription service, then they can't go around splicing together clips. I'm an amateur. I just stream things. But if I was just splicing things together and making it look like Keir Starmer said something, of course I have an agenda against Keir Starmer. I don't like the guy. But if I was fabricating and making up crap, then I should be liable for damages done to the Prime Minister if I was there clearly making things up about him and putting videos and manipulating his voice. So I am absolutely on President Trump's side here. They need to be defunded, and this is going to be a massive wake-up call. They won't be doing
today and in our new media,
and they won't be doing it again. Let's put it that way. Let's get some more reaction on that interview.
On that challenges the status quo, whether it's Trump, whether it's reform. The moment someone threatens to upset the comfortable cabal between the media and the political class, suddenly that person is dangerous, populist, or, as Bill and his party like to call us, far-right, divisive and racist. Why do I have to continue paying to be indoctrinated?
Fair question, Bill?
Well, you're not being indoctrinated, and I think we need a reality check. President Trump was found guilty of inciting insurrection on January the 6th by both the House of Representatives in the United States and the Senate.
Well, if that was the case, why didn't you show the video then if he was doing it? Why didn't you show the true video?
That's what they voted for.
But that's a political... It's not by... Are you saying that oversees a judicial system that finds him guilty? How can you say they found him guilty? He wasn't prosecuted for it. Obviously, that was a completely political persecution. And then the BBC doctored the speech. Are you defending what they did?
Well, hold on, right? And there were Republicans in both houses who voted against Trump on that basis as well. Now, in respect of the Panorama documentary, yes, there was a serious error that was made. The BBC has apologised for that and should apologise more so this week. But most certainly the BBC should not give licence fee payers money to compensate Donald Trump. If Trump wants to bring that case to court, I think all the evidence is he would lose, because he would have to demonstrate that, one, the documentary was widely viewed within the United States when clearly it was not, and it had a meaningful impact on his reputation, which it did. did not. Trump has a track record of bullying media organisations in his own country, and he's trying to do it now with the BBC.
Bill,
yes,
come on.
apologise for what's happened, but do not compensate Donald Trump.
The problem with the Labour Party is that you guys don't believe in accountability. Here you are again, you're defending through like meandering through facts, the fact that they actually doctored a video in a documentary and presented it as facts. You see, Bill, this isn't just about one broadcaster. It's about a system protecting itself. The BBC isn't independent anymore, is it? It's the media arm of
So
the
you say.
establishment. And the only way that media arm, that whole establishment survives is by informing the public. But actually what they're really doing is indoctrinating the public. Don't forget we've got BBC Verify that's supposed to verify your favourite term, misinformation or disinformation. How can I trust anything it says now? It actively doctored. Imagine you went on TV and you said something and they clipped two parts of it that completely distorted what you said. How would you feel?
Right. 99,
and you had to pay for it.
Right, 99% of the BBC's coverage is impartial.
Oh my God.
Where it gets it wrong.
99%, is that a fact?
Layla, if we're going to have a serious conversation, can you stop ranting and interrupting me and let me make my point? 99% of the coverage is impartial. Where it gets it wrong, it needs to be held to account. And I think there are serious questions for the BBC, particularly over the BBC Arabic service. And part of the fallout from the resignation of the Director General should be a full appraisal of that particular channel, because it's clearly operated according to different editorial guidelines to the mainstream BBC. So yes, when the BBC gets it wrong, it should be held to account and explained.
And yeah, well, they are being held to account. They're getting sued for $1 billion. They tried to defame and tried to manipulate and tried to make out a president or a president-elect was, or a former president, was trying to say something that he didn't. So yeah, I don't care if it's not a mistake. It's not like, oh, they got a news story wrong and then new information came out later that it wasn't actually true anymore. They didn't do that. It was the fact that they actually spliced together. They knew what they were doing. They were trying to, of course, do this on the eve of a presidential election. They were trying to manipulate what he said and try, of course, to distort the truth. And distort the truth, completely fabricate the truth as to what was going on. These liberals, they love the BBC because they're on their side. That's the fact. They wouldn't be acting like this if it was GB News, for God's sake, would they? You can't make this stuff up. But guys, do let me know your thoughts on the update. Of course, BBC, if they apologise or not, they're getting a lawsuit regardless. Are you happy with that? Yes or no? Let me know down in the comments. Hit like, hit subscribe, and I'll see you all next time. Take care. Peace.